Okay, so today we are going to talk about discount, taxes, and tips. This is something you guys will use all the time in the real world. Okay, this is very, it'll be used all of the time. What discounts you get, taxes are on everything, and when you need a tip at restaurants, how do people do it? How do you figure it out? Okay, so here are a few notes that we need to write. If it is a discount, is a savings. So if I am saving money, therefore, it has to be what from the original number? My discount has to be less. So what operation do you think we do? So you need to therefore subtract. So a discount is a savings and therefore is subtracted from the original number. So whenever you figure out what your discount is, $5, $10, whatever the case may be, you will subtract it from that original number. Tips and taxes are very, very similar. They are something you pay in addition to the total amount, and if they're in addition to it, that means I have to do what? Add. Very good. I have to make sure that they are added to the original number. So once you figure out whatever that tip or that tax is, you are going to add it to your original number. So here is how you find discounts, taxes, tips. Anytime where they give you a percentage and they want to know what your percent of that number is, you need to first rewrite the percent as a what? Decimal. Good. We can't do anything with a percentage, guys. That's why we always put the percent over 100 when we did percent of a number and percent proportions. Because a percent is not a number. Okay? It is a number that you get from a decimal or a number you get from a fraction. So we have to change it to a decimal. And then what operation do you think I'm going to do with the decimal and the original number? I'm going to multiply. You're right. It also says it right down here, doesn't it? Kind of gave you an early hint. So to solve for your tax or your tips or your discounts, you will rewrite the percent as a decimal and you will multiply the percent decimal by the original number. So if we look at this first one they gave you, it says if you want to leave a 15% tip left on an $80 dinner bill. So you have an $80 dinner bill, you decide that you want to leave a 15% tip. What's 15% written as a decimal, you guys? 0.15. And I want to then multiply that 0.15 by the $80. So everyone, right here, we're going to do 80 times 0.15. So we remember how to multiply decimals, because you will have to multiply decimals on your homework assignment tonight. And if we don't remember how to multiply decimals, we will definitely struggle. So 5 times 0 is what, everyone? 0. 5 times 8 is? I'm done with the 5, so what do I need to add? 0. A 0. 1 times 0 is? 0. 1 times 8 is? 8. What do I do with those numbers? So 400 plus 800 is? 1,200. And how do I know where to put my decimal, Chloe?
Because the 15 has a decimal in front of it, you have to move it over to the top.
Good. I have 2 numbers behind my decimal, so I need to have 2 numbers behind my decimal, which makes my tip how much? Which is why they put $12 right here. Does that make sense to everyone? Okay, what if I asked you, what's my final bill? How much am I going to pay? What would I do? Add. So my final bill, I need to take that $80 and I need to do what? Add 12. And 80 plus 12 is? So how much did we spend on dinner? $92. Okay, so that's tip. Any questions on tips? Okay, so Let's do a tax one. The second one's tax one. It says 10% tax on a $50 pair of shoes. So I want to buy a pair of shoes that's $50. I know tax is 10%. What's the first thing I need to do? Turn to a decimal. What's 10% as a decimal? 0.1, 0.10, and what operation am I going to do? I'm going to multiply it. So 0.50 times 10. Now, do we have a trick that we can use for this, guys? Do we have a trick that we can use when we multiply by tens, hundreds, thousands? How many zeros do I have? I have 1 0. I am multiplying, so does my decimal move to the left or to the right? Does it move to the right or to the left? When we multiply, it goes to the left, so instead of $50, it's going to be what? It's going to be what? $5. So my tax is how much? $5. Because 10% of 50 is $5.
Wait, what about the, don't we have to add, so then we have like the total?
But you have to make sure you always read the question what it's asking you for. Otherwise, you're skipping ahead and not doing every step. Because there's sometimes, guys, they will never ever ask you what's the total amount they're going to pay.
Oh.
They will literally just say, what's the tax, what's the tip? And so you only need to find the tax or the tip. So if you go and find the final amount, you just don't always have to. Does that make sense? So make sure in math at least you read the full question. If I want to know the final amount, what do I do, guys?
Add 50 to 5.
And 50 plus 5 is what? So that means for that pair of shoes, and I won't pay 50, I will pay $55. Okay, we're going to do the very last one together. So we're going to down to the 40% discount on a $5 watermelon. So I want to buy a $5 watermelon, but it is on sale for 40% off. That's what discount means. That's the amount of money that I am saving. So what do I need to do? Make it into a decimal. What's 40% as a decimal? 0.4. 0.4. And what am I doing with 0.4? So 5 times 0.4. Five times 4 is what? 20. But where does that decimal belong? So how much money am I saving? What is my discount? So I am saving $2. That is my discount. And if I'm saving it, it's my discount. What do I do to find out how much that watermelon is going to cost me? So I'm going to do 5 minus 2, which is 3. So that watermelon will cost me $3. Cole.
Is it possible for a discount to be enough to make like an item free?
Is it possible? Sure. Does it happen a whole lot? No. You'd have to do a lot of like couponing and a lot of other like stuff to go off with it. And stores have kind of gotten away from that sort of stuff. But is it possible? Sure. Absolutely. Okay? So what we are going to do now is by yourself, you are going to solve the next 3 questions in your notes. You are going to tell me the tax, the tip, the discount, and you need to give me the amount that you paid, the final total amount. Does that make sense? I will walk around and I will check them, okay? So that's going to be all for the notes that I'm going to record.